Hello and welcome. You're tuned to the Leg Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview podcast. We're live, BP. We are live from Cambridge. We're always live on a Friday, though, when we think about it. But
I can see you, though, in person.
This is nice to be joining you at Cambridge Raceway on what's going to be a big night tonight, Night of Champions.
It will be, yes. The weather, as we speak, is not that great, but let's hope for Dave Branch and the entire team and the industry itself, really, that they have a great night, because everything's set up for a super night. I know the ticket sales are through the roof as well, so fingers crossed that they can have the night they're looking for, and this weather can blow through, hopefully.
It's supposed to do that, doesn't it, though, the weather? We're supposed to get a reasonably fine night tonight.
Yeah, look around at 4 or 5 o'clock is the expectation that there won't be any rain, so let's hope that is the case. But fields have come up fantastic and really sets up the weekend, because I know it's a good weekend overall, and of course we even have Te Rapa on Sunday as well. We'll look forward to with good fields there. So good racing weekend, and of course across the Tasman as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll touch on some of those harness markets just in a little bit. But news during the week, BP, Imperatriz came back to New Zealand after a tremendous run of form and was retired during the week, the champion mare.
Yeah, and I think it was a shock to everybody to be able to read that news coming through yesterday afternoon when it started filtering through around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I actually couldn't believe it. I honestly could not believe that what I was reading. I had to double check a number of different sources, but let's just reflect on what a horse she was, and the fact that she won 10 Group 1s, and she's been able to do it in possibly one of the hardest racing jurisdictions in Australia, to be able to win those sprinting Group 1s. We don't see New Zealand horses go over there and win Group 1s in Australia like she did. And look, her performances around Moonee Valley are ones that are going to stand out, her unbeaten record around that venue. Look, and even her efforts, I thought, down the straight at Flemington held so much merit in what she was able to do. And, of course, a gutsy run last Saturday as well in the TJ Smith. So, I know there's some sad racing fans out there that we're not going to see here and not push for that Everest in the spring, but they've done right by the horse at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, look, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we would have never dreamed of a New Zealand horse would be over there winning sprinting Group 1s in Australia and stacking them up as well.
Well, just being competitive, just actually trying to beat half the field home. It was sometimes a massive achievement for a New Zealand sprinter to go over there and be competitive against some of the best sprinters that are going around in Australia. And of course we know that those sprinters can then go across the world and also race at their elite level. So with what she's done, I think it's always hard when you're right in the moment, when you have a horse like her that's won all these races. It almost takes a couple of months, almost a year in reflection to actually go back and go, well, she actually was that good. She was the superior sprinter at the time, and she was trained by Kiwis and ridden by of course our Kiwi jockey Napier Sprint. So a lot to be proud about, really.
100%. Let's head south to the dry of the Petone studio, my normal home, and say good morning to Steve and Hunt and Paul Maoate. Steve, she's got to be Australian Horse of the Year, surely, Imperatriz. Good morning, boys.
Morning, gents. Yeah, should have to go up favourite if we set a market currently on. Here's a little bit to unfold. Obviously, the big day on Saturday at Randwick and the Brisbane Carnival, etc. But if you're writing up a book, you'd have to be a short price fave to take out Australian Horse of the Year. I almost go back to Imperatriz when she started her campaign as a juvenile. She won at Otaki on a heavy track, Paul. And then she went second up to Ellerslie in the Eclipse on New Year's Day. And she clashed with a stablemate with the name of Sword of State, who won on debut as well, the 2-year-old colt out of the Te Akau barn. He won by, I think, roughly 6 or so lengths when winning on debut at Te Rapa. So he clashed against the stablemate Imperatriz. When we were setting that market, Sword of State went up deep into the red, I think $1.80, $1.70 from memory, where Imperatriz opened at $21. Well, I can tell you, after 24 hours of trading a few years back, we got a decent lead on how good Imperatriz was. She was crunched in the market, stable money, external money, the lot, up and down the country. I think she started in the low teens, and the job was done. She won accordingly, beating Sword of State by 3 or 4 lengths that day at Ellerslie, and took out her first feature race. And look, the rest is history, Paul. She's just been a superb horse. As you say, 10 Group 1s, 5 in the last season. And she's going to go up for sale as a broodmare, and you'd have to say Yulong would be a short price fave to purchase her going on recent history.
She's a super mare, and we've been spoilt, to be fair, and it'll just make it that much harder for any of our other sprinters when heading over there. They'll be measured against Imperatriz now, and as Dad said, those Group 1s that she picked up over there at the Valley, well, she was the queen of the Valley, to be fair, so yeah, she'll get a pretty penny. And obviously the team at Tiako knew they had something very, very special early on. And you guys took the brunt of that early on too. So, no, very sad to see her retired, but I think we're so lucky to actually be able to witness so many of her wonderful, wonderful victories over her career.
Maybe the Eclipse Insurance Stakes.
Oh.
It's got a nice touch to it, feel about it going to the future.
Yeah, you're not going to put your hand in the ring to buy a PB?
No. I mean, pluck if I can buy a bag of peanuts at the moment, but no, I won't be doing that, no.
Yeah, okay. Hey, special treat time on the leg up. We've dropped Aidan Rodley for the weekend. He was very disappointed about that, but we've got a more than capable replacement. We're joined now by Jane Ivell from Sydney, live from Randwick. Good morning, Jane. Probably just a word on Imperatrice from you, I guess.
Good morning, team. Fantastic to be part of the show. Well, of course, Imperatrice was a wonderful mare for New Zealand, wasn't she? And it was a real privilege to be able to watch her in Melbourne and the deeds that she did on the track. Obviously unbeaten around the valley, and pretty proud to say you're a Kiwi when Mark Walker was picking up Group 1s left, right and centre with her. We're going to miss her. It would have been really exciting to see her feature in an Everest, but look, as always, Te Akau do the best for their horses, and they've made the right decision for her. It's going to be really exciting to see how she sells at public auction. But just, guys, considering you are a bunch of bookies, when you are setting up your market for Australian Horse of the Year, don't forget about a Caulfield Melbourne Cup winner and without a fight.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. He's going to be right in the calculations. Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup winner without a fight. Jane, racing march is on this weekend, second day of the championships, and there's plenty of Kiwi interest, obviously highlighted by Orchestral, but Campionessa, Quintessa, Maharajan in the Sydney Cup, so the Kiwis will make their presence felt tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, hopefully we have a little bit better day this side of the Tasman that we did day one of the championships. And of course, Orchestral, certainly the flag bearer for the Kiwis on Saturday. We've been out and seen her during the week, and she just looks a picture, this filly. First time I'd seen her in the flesh, and there's no doubt I was really impressed by what I saw from her. She's going to have her 7th run of the campaign in the Oaks this Saturday, and you wouldn't know it looking at her. I said yesterday, in the words of Roger James, he said she's just thriving. She's got her head in the feed bin. She's doing everything right, and James McDonald's certainly given her the tick of approval. He's ridden her a couple of times throughout the week, and he's really happy with the way that she's feeling and the way that she's going about her business. So look, to the eye, she is in immaculate order. We wouldn't expect anything less from Roger James. He doesn't get too ahead of himself, but she's going to be really hard to beat in the Oaks come tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Quintessa will have something to say, BP, as well, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, her run was very good. I mean, just beaten by Antrim Coast last time to the races. Of course, extra distance for her, and Zadozi, a winner of VRC Oaks as well. But yeah, look, the opposition is strong and behind, but she's a deserved $1.65 favourite, and yeah, let's hope she can get the job done.
Yeah, a couple of things I need to ask you, Jane, before we get you out of here. When are we going to see you back on Kiwi shores? And are you going to have to put up with Aidan Rodley tomorrow afternoon during the trackside coverage?
I was hoping I'd gotten rid of Aidan Rodley, but look, sounds like he might be part of the coverage. But look, it's okay. We tend to get along all right, Aidan and I. We go well back. Yeah, look, I have actually already made it to New Zealand shores. I've been home and then back over here again, but I head home from Sydney on Sunday, and then I become a permanent New Zealand resident again. So what I'm doing right now, Thad, is soaking up the sun here at Randwick, because we've got outstanding conditions here. Blue skies, not a cloud in the sky, and look, I'm not really looking forward to going home to Palmerston North weather, particularly that wind, but hopefully I acclimatise pretty quickly.
Yeah, hey, absolutely. We look forward to seeing you on our screens tomorrow, Jane, and during the coverage of Championships Day 2, and we look forward to seeing you back in New Zealand very, very soon. Thanks for joining us on the leg up.
Yeah, been great to be part of the team. As I've said, we've got some really exciting Kiwis to look forward to day 2 of the championships. You mentioned Sean Ritchie's stayer, so look, we'll be cheering them home, and hopefully we can pick up a couple of Group 1 wins this side of the Tasman.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to Jane Ivell for joining us on the leg up. We appreciate her time. BP, we're at Cambridge Raceway. And we've talked about the weather. I won't go on about it because I'm not one to complain, as you know.
That's right.
But a couple of great races tonight. Look, obviously highlighted by the race by Grins, but the TAB Trot as well. It looks a fantastic race. You've been part of the sort of build-up in terms of the draws and things. What's been happening in the marketplace and who's going to be a big chance tonight?
Yeah, it's been a really good week, actually. Kicked off with what happened at Smith & Mackenzie on Monday night with the barrier draw, and just having the Australians involved. It really does have almost a mini Inter-Dominion feel to it, and that's what we've got with the TAB Trot race. You've got the 4 Australians have drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got...
How'd that happen?
Yeah, what happened to visitors draw?
Exactly.
Then you've got the big bangers out wide as well. So Just Believe is the favourite at $2.10, a 2-time Inter-Dominion winner is Just Believe. Call Me the Breeze, who is the gate speed horse, and a lot of interest around Call Me the Breeze around the early crow market at $2.30. It is the favourite for that market. Yes, there's an early
soft
crow
spot for the early crow market.
Yeah, you throw me an early crow market, I'll play into it. The other one that does have gate speed is RC Phoenix at $6. Muscle Mountain didn't fare well in the barrier draws at $7.50, and Oscar Bonavina, who has been very well supported over the last 24 hours at that double-figure price, sitting at $8. We'll be hoping that things happen electric up front for Oscar Bonavina. So that's the TAB Trot.
Yep, the race by Grins.
The race by Grins is an interesting market because
the Purdens.
That's right. You've got Don't Stop Dreaming, who's drawn in barrier number 2, and as soon as that barrier draw came up, the price was around that $1.90 mark, $2 for that horse. So $1.85 now is the quote. Merlin $3.50, and Speak the Truth. Speak the Truth can come off the gate. Early crow market for Speak the Truth's at $5 and around $5.50. And I think Kango, drawn barrier number 1, will hold a fair bit of interest what happens off the gate. And he'll be hoping that he just hands up to the right horse. Merlin can come off the gate as well, is the second favourite at $3.50. So a lot of interest what happens early, but you Don't Stop Dreaming is the well-backed favourite for tonight's the race by Grins. Gee, it's going to be a good night, and I just hope that this weather can just push away. Look, it's been really good weather leading up to the last couple of weeks. It's been perfect. So we'll have a concert after the races at around 11 o'clock. That'll go through to about 11 o'clock with Coterie coming, which is a New Zealand band that are based out of Western Australia. They'll just lift the roof off this joint if it's hissing by that time of the night and it's a good clear night, so let's hope so.
Okay, good luck to Dave Branch and the team, and thanks for having us at Cambridge Raceway to host the League Up, and we hope you have a great night, Dave. BP, we'll come to you back to you because it's Maiden of the Week time. Who have you got?
Yes, there was only 3 races at Ellerslie on Wednesday, but there was certainly a Maiden of the Week there out of that venue. And you could have gone maybe the first race as well in Villa Belmiro, but I've gone with Swain's Day because it's a run by a horse that... Look, the expectation was there because of the last start run behind Tomodachi. Tomodachi form was gold dust because Tomodachi came out and won again since in a rating 65. Really like the second horse in this race as well. Sarsaparilla. It just looks like a horse you want to find the right maiden race with as well. So Swain's Day got into the right spot and gets the job done. So he's a horse who can go on with it. Villa Belmiro was very well ridden in the first race as well by Sam Spratt, and you could almost say that La Parisienne as a horse to follow out of that race. So I was torn between those first 2 races. Just gone with this race here, just in front of the first race in Villa Belmiro. But definitely both races worth following. Yeah,
the second horse I think will be the one to follow on maidens next time, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Hawke's Bay Cup Day at Otaki. Steve, we'll come to you. What weather and track are we expecting? Are we dodging the rain at Otaki for Hawke's Bay Cup Day?
I don't think so, unfortunately, Thaddeus. There's rain forecasted today, heavy rain, and a few showers tomorrow on race day as well. So, look, the current pentrometer reading is around about that 5 mark, soft 5 this morning. The rail's in the true position. Last meeting was roughly a week and a half ago on the Monday, and the rail was out 7 metres. So they'll just put it back in the true position for their feature day. But as we say, it won't be any better than a soft 5. I'd be looking closely to that heavy range come race day in the first race tomorrow afternoon, Thaddeus.
Yeah, okay, we'll run us through the market for the Hawke's Bay Cup, Steve. I think it's race number 6 on the card. Who is favourite and how's the market shaping?
We had the early scratching yesterday on the current favourite, or the favourite, the opening favourite, and Snazzy Tavi. So, look, that horse has come out. Not sure the reasons behind that, but it's left Testify Me as the favourite at $4.20. Gents, Fongai Hu in that second line at $5. Just lukewarm around number 2 currently. Elegant Lady, In terms of best back runners, sits in that second line, even though it's in the third line in favouritism order, 9 into 6. Prince Albie will love any aqua floating around Prince Albie from the south. $7.50 off a peak of $9. Titled $7.50 out of 4.8.5. Cheval de Foudre 11 into 8.5 on the quick backup. Sporting Chance drawn the ace at $9. Olive at $14 off a shortener of 13. Sailor Jack looks to be the leader here at $14. And Zachary, who is dual accepted for a race at Te Rapa on Sunday as well, but there is a jock here, so potentially starting in the feature. So look, overall summary, Thad, Testify Me, clearly the best back runner and is the favourite 4.2. Elegant Lady, Prince Albie and Cheval de Foudre have all had support in the first 36 hours.
Yeah, okay, a very compressed Hawke's Bay Cup market, BP, and when a favourite comes out, it can mean there's a little bit of movement, but I want to have a look at the St Ledger first with our current favourite Testify Me and also Sailor Jack in commission here. Yeah,
look, and we know Sailor Jack will appreciate conditions if they do get into that bracket of around that heavy nature, and also Testify Me. This was a very good effort in the St Ledger, but this horse picking up the leader and taking the race out. Look, he's a horse that I know that they've always had a high opinion of. He just seems to be sitting in the right spot for tomorrow's race. Full race winner from 16 starts, a little bit of forgiveness in the ground, looks ideal. And that was over the 2,600 metres, winning that St Ledger, drops back to the 2,200 metres. Shouldn't be an issue there. He's drawn well. There's a lot of right ticks around him running a big race in this tomorrow. And Sailor Jack, I think if that track does push into that heavy nature, just might be one for maybe try fitters and first falls if he can run a race.
Couldn't rule him out at $14. I mean, he's not out of the market, I should say.
That's right. Look, it's a very even field, and you could make a case for a lot of horses, and even with the track conditions pushing in to that soft and early stages of heavy, that does bring a few horses into the race.
Yeah, okay. Steve Fongai, who raced with Credit in Australia and ran a good 7th in an Auckland Cup. He's the second favourite currently at $5. Here he is in that Auckland Cup, Steve.
Yeah, just presenting three off the rail there in that second slot. Look, he had a decent run this day, Thaddeus. He was 3 back rail in the Auckland Cup, but he just didn't stay the 2 miles. He had every right to finish off the race. He didn't disgrace himself, as you say, finished 7th in the end. Look, back in trip suits, and there's no doubt about that. The negative, well, there's no negative around the aqua that's going to fall in the next 24 hours around Fongai Hu. Look, his best performance in New Zealand was 2 starts back when winning over the hill here, 93.8, which is around the mark to be running in the top 3. So, look, a horse that often gets well backed, Paul, but at this stage he's lukewarm running for the tab, which is a little bit eye-opening to say the least out of a punting group of ownership. So, look, he's not in my top 3, but look, I've got to respect him in the marketplace, as you say. He's in the top 3 currently in the market. But, yeah, look, the back and trip suits, but, yeah, I've got a few in front of him.
Yeah, Paul, a horse that won't, you're talking about aqua falling, a horse that won't mind it is the Southerner, Prince Albie. His win in the Riverton Cup was pretty dominant. Looks like he's in a good spot for a race like this.
Yeah, he certainly is. And that win in the Riverton Cup was preceded by a win over 1,500 metres at Wingatui. So he's in the form of his life at the moment. It looks like he's going to get conditions that will really suit him down to a T. He'll want a genuine tempo, and I think he'll probably get that. So there's a lot of boxes being ticked for Prince Albie. Look, I think he's a big chance. I love him at the price. I think he was $9 before the scratching of the favourite. Now into $7.50, but I think he's still worth a very good bet. I think it was ridden by Terry Mosley here, and he just sort of cruised into the race and gave a nice sustained run from around the 800 metre mark and just out-toughed them down the straight there at Riverton. So, yeah, obviously Gelman's not bringing him up here for a haircut, so I really am very keen around the chances of Prince Albie. Look, I know he has to carry 3 kilos more than he did in that Riverton Cup win, but I think he's more than capable. And if we do get that rain, that big downpour, then I think he's going to be right in it at the end.
The weight worries me, lads. 58 kilograms. He carried 55 last start, as we saw in the Riverton Cup, and that was helped by the presence of Capo Del Impero, who had the clear top rating of mid-90s, and he just fell in perfectly on the weights that day. But look, his top 4 performance ratings have all been on heavy track, so that's a tick. But when you're carrying 58 in those previous victories on a heavy track, he's been carrying 56, 55, 54, etc. So 58 is a real leveller, regardless if you've got performances on heavy track. So look, I reckon he's a slight set against that, just purely on the weights. And Lily Sutherland, look, I'll come to you, BP, on Lily. She's still chasing that premiership in terms of the apprentices. Look, I think she's 5 behind Narajan Palmer, but 3-4 months ago we had a head-to-head. Basically, we couldn't split her and Narajan Palmer, but look, I think she got a confidence boost last week when winning Rudyard or riding Rudyard to victory last start up north. But prior to that, she had only had 3 wins from roughly about 100 rides. So we know her capability, but yeah, hopefully she can give that chase versus Narajan Palmer in that premiership, because 3 or 4 months ago it was neck and neck, but Narajan's just got his whip in front fractionally at this stage.
Yeah, and look, a couple of things in. Look, Narajan, as we know, he has spent a bit of time on the sideline. You know, he has copped a couple of heavy suspensions, and when he comes back, he gets his mojo back pretty quick, doesn't he, Narajan Palmer? And look, we saw with Lily Sutherland, the real rise for mine for Lily came through the New Zealand Cup Week Carnival. She got a lot of confidence with getting good rides, especially from the Pike Barn, and as Stephen said, a little bit of a lull there, but boy, there's a chance to really surge now for Lily over these next couple of months. So, yeah, I wouldn't be writing her off, making that an intriguing battle as we get closer to the end of the season. More around Prince Albie. Look, he has won with 57 kilos on a heavy track over distance. So I'm happy to take a risk on him having to carry the 58 kilos, knowing that he's a mudlark. He is a horse.
Yeah.
He can go through all conditions, but he is a horse who really does enjoy wet track conditions. So if he gets those conditions that are suitable for him, and I even think with where the track sits now, I mean, he gets through soft ground anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it doesn't have to pelt down for him to be a winning chance. I think he sits at a really each-way price in the race. I like him. I'm keen to get around Prince Albie as well.
Okay, you and Paul starting to line up here. Why are we having a look at Elegant Lady, Steve, running 10th? In a South Island breeder? She's the third favourite at $6.
We'll just watch her in the Te Akau colours there, third, fourth, last. You'll see Narajan go for that dream run along the rail when he gets blocked at a vital stage, roughly around the 200 metre mark. Hard to know or assess where the horse would have finished up if he got that gap along the rail there, but it was closed off, you see here, by the current leader. And basically Narajan just set up in the horse in the last furlong, right there, bang. Look, it definitely finishes closer, but where she would have actually finished remains to be seen. It's one of those ones, how long's a piece of string. But, look, she dropped back from the 2-4 journey in her previous start when winning the Dunedin Gold Cup to 1,600 metres. She needed the tempo to be strong, and it was fairly strong, the breeders at Riccarton last start, and that gave her opportunity to finish strongly. Just things didn't work out as we saw there. But I think stepping back up and trip, wet track, no issue there. Look, there's been a stack of money for her. As I say, she's the second best back runner, even though she sits in that third line. And yeah, I've definitely got her in the mix. I've got her in the top 2 currently, but yeah, she has to be a real chance just purely on the conditions of the distance, etc.
Okay, you've got her in the top 2. Who's the top 1 for you in a Hawke's Bay Cup, Steve? And Paul coming behind him.
Yeah, I'll go with Testify Me. Look, he just needs to replicate what he produced at Trentham last start. He beat a good horse from the Central Districts, the Patterson trained galloper. So I think that's good enough for him. He sits perfectly in the weights with 55 kilograms. Chris Dow knows this horse inside out. He's drawn barrier 4. It's just hard to find a knock. A bit like Apostrophe last week, 7 days ago. Just very hard to find one knock, where a lot of his key rivals in this race, I can find at least one knock on those individuals. So, yeah, Testify Me in front of Elegant Lady 1-2 in the Hawke's Bay Cup, Paul.
Prince Albie, I think the money's going south this weekend. I really like the look of his chances. He's going to get conditions to suit. I love the fact Lily Sutherland's on board as well. Look, I think it'd be tough, even with the extra 3 kilos that he had to carry last time out. So Prince Albie on top for me, Testify Me just in behind.
Final thoughts, BP?
Yeah, I'm with Prince Albie as well. I think the horse can get those conditions to suit, and look, he's shown that he can carry some big weight. So yes, it is a jump up from the Riverton Cup, but he's in really good form at the moment. So yeah, happy to be with Prince Albie.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you, kid. That's the bottom line. Yeah, I have a lot of fun.
Lance O'Sullivan Award time for another week. BP, who have you found for us for Lance O'Sullivan? It might have a little bit of relevance for the Hawke's Bay Cup in
Yes, it
mind.
could be, because it's a horse who's backing up for tomorrow's Hawke's Bay Cup, and that'd have been Cheval de Foudre, because this was a good ride from Matt Cameron. He was able to sit back, be quiet, and just wait for all the gaps to open up. This horse was last when turning in. Not sure too long how this drone footage goes for, but if you can see the horse there that's at the back end of the field right now in the green, that's the winner of the race. And dives underneath runners, gets the right split. Had been knocking on the door a number of times, this horse, had been unlucky and had been one of the eye catchers and just needed things to go its way, and Matt was able to provide that with this runner. And look, maybe it's a case of backing up and being a strong chance in the Hawke's Bay Cup
they
as
might
well.
have found the key just riding on completely cold, and he got home really strong, didn't he?
He did, yep. So, cool ride from Matt, and he picks up his, I think it's his second gong now after La Creek with the Lance O'Sullivan Award. So, he's starting to rack him up on the mantelpiece.
He'll be celebrating tonight, will Matt Cameron, with another Lance O'Sullivan Award. Okay, next race we want to have a look at, Steve, is race number 7 on the card, and it's the City of Napier Sprint. A competitive race, I thought.
Very static market, Thaddeus. Hardly a shift in or out. I'm Wonderful Tonight heads the market at $4.50. If in doubt, Get Out, Join the Ace Pace Influencer at $5. Shares that second line with We Will Rock. Bradman at $5.50 on the quick backup. Arisha Reese $6.50 with Bold Bell, who resumes for Bryce Newman. Sergio at $9, then double figures around G-String, etc. And just on G-String, that is one firm at 26 into 21, currently a losing liability with that natural high lay price. But no lead. But a little bit of specking for number 4, We Will Rock, as there was first up at Trentham a couple of weeks ago.
Geez, this is a competitive market, BP. The first race we're going to have a look at is the Lightning, with quite a few of the combatants competing here.
Gee, isn't there? There's a lot to talk about here with I'm Wonderful Tonight, who's had a very good preparation, in fact, I'm Wonderful Tonight, and finishes into third position here. Of course, Bradman's in this race. Who's then come out and then, of course, won last weekend as well, and is a chance, but we'll have to go up 6 kilos on that win from last time to the races. And then We Will Rock, who look, was disappointing in the race.
I tipped him too.
And he was very well backed, wasn't he? He was strongly played in the marketplace. I've got a little forgive card in my back pocket, and I'll be presenting that to We Will Rock
I've got one too, funnily enough. I've got one. I'm with you.
Yeah, I've got quite a stack. I've got a stack of them actually, so but I don't like to give them out too loosely. So happy to give one to We Will Rock here, because I think that the horse appreciates cutting the ground and does have a very good second up record. And look, we know the horse can gallop. We've seen the horse been able to perform in Australia as well. So yeah, I think he's a strong chance.
Yeah, 100%. On the favourite, you just did touch on it. She had a great season for trainer. Now,
Sam Minot.
Sam Minot, exactly, yeah. And she's done incredibly well with the horse and had a great prep, which is nice to culminate it with a win, wouldn't it?
It would, because this horse has competed in our elite races, in terms of sprinting races, this preparation. It's a horse that we'll be hoping that the track doesn't get too much worse than the slow range. It's a horse who's had 2 starts on a soft track for a win and a minor placing, but I'm sure they'll be hoping that it doesn't go beyond that. But look, everything she does, she's been able to front up and turn up. So look, she's a deserved favourite in the race, and what looks to be another very even sprint race away from her. Your old mate If in Doubt Get Out, of course, one that was very well backed about 4 starts ago, and even Bradman on the back up from last Saturday. Yeah,
what about Bradman? Bradman competed in that Lightning, Paul, but it came out and won a flying handicap. If in Doubt boxed on incredibly well for 4th, but this is quite dominant from Bradman.
Yeah, it certainly was, and I thought it was a wonderful ride by Billy Pinn as well. Just settled midfield in that flying handicap, and then loomed up at the turn, and then just let loose down the straight there, and just showed a nice sort of explosive finish, I thought, over the top of them. I saw Royden Burgesson not long after the race, and he seemed a little surprised with how well Bradman went. So I guess they're just going to strike while the iron's hot, and that's why we're seeing Bradman going around today. I guess the big negative, though, is the 59 kilos that Bradman will have to lob round the Otaki track. If in doubt, I thought it was a positive run. Look, just seemed to, I guess, come to the end of its run with about a furlong to go. But I think there's enough out of that run to suggest that we'll see, if in doubt, there at the business end of this race. And I see there's still no jockey nominated for If in Doubt. But, yeah, I do give If in Doubt a big chance.
They said Bradman was a bit of a problem child after the race, BP. Like, he's been a bit of a work in progress, and he had a few things going against him, and he obviously got it all together there.
He did. Look, he's a 7-race winner. I mean, he is a horse who's, he's just bubbled away, hasn't he, in sort of that open grade, and and found those right races. And look, off the back of that victory, it will be a tall order to be able to, give more weight away for the weekend. But he's a happy horse. He's in form, and he will like conditions as well for tomorrow.
Yeah. Steve, the last race replay we want to have a look at is Bold Bell, competing in the Open Handicap at Trentham. Tell us about Bold Bell. Wins the race and wins it well.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to this race, Thaddeus. It was back in October, but there's a lot of similarities between this victory and the conditions of the race to where we are tomorrow afternoon. First up, obviously Bold Bell has had a couple of trials leading into tomorrow afternoon. She was first up here on this occasion in an open class race over 1,200 metres. Carried 54 when winning this race. She carries 53 on Saturday, and this was on a genuine off track. Now, she rated a PB this day, 96.8. Only 2 runners out of their personal bests when you're lining up the field have a higher number. We Will Rock and Little Who's Got Moves. So on that score, she has to be a chance. I loved her 2 trials leading in. They've been soft trials. I think that's enough just to have her right first up over 1,200 metres. The negative is the gate, and BP, there's a lot of speed in this race. You look at, if in doubt, get out, drawn the ace. They'll try and hold a spot and not give up that draw. Sergio looks to be the leader here, but We Will Rock, G-String, and as I say, Bold Bell, who's got a sticky gate, will probably come across, and if they can find that spot 3-4 back in that ear, trailing that hot speed, that might be the old ideal spot. But a lot of speed in this race.
There is, and even a horse that you mentioned taking a bit of money in G-strings, drawn low, can potentially go forward and maybe even take a spot in behind all that pressure with wet track credentials next to its name as well. So it's all about what can find that sweet spot, who can land one by one, who can be 1 out 3 back, tracking speed if they are going crazy up top. So that could be the enigma about trying to work this race out. Look, in the end, I'm keen to go with We Will Rock. I just feel as though the horse sets up nicely for tomorrow, does have the second up record, and a lot of things in his favour. So yeah, that's where I'm heading.
You're with We Will Rock. Paul, give us your final thoughts, and then you, Steve.
I don't mind the look of Ariza Rees for mine. I think we're going to see a nice sort of run. She won't mind the rain either, so I've got Ariza Rees on top. If in doubt, just in behind. And just further to Steve's comment about the market firming around G-string, usually that's not a good sign when there's a bit of firming around the G-string.
Okay, well, I'll just go with my selections here. We Will Rock. Look, I've got him on top. He's the best horse. He's got the best performance rating in the race. And the blinkers go on here. I think that's a key gear change for a horse that's second up here. You talk about his second up form lines, but the blinkers on. He doesn't have to lead, but he can position in that top 2 or 3 off that hot tempo, and a bit of fire of the track will suit. And Bold Bell, just look for a push in the market around this horse. It notably could be quite soft just because it presents first up, but has the credentials. And Bradman, just with that big weight, 53 last weekend, suited this horse back up to 59. You go back on the 7-day backup performances around this horse, he definitely regresses. He's had a couple of placings from those 4 starts, so happy to take a set at the 550 Hill Drift on race day.
Okay, the team pretty keen around We Will Rock in the city of Napier Sprint. Let's head south. Big day at Riccarton, Steve. Some couple of great races, but before we touch on them, weather and track conditions for Riccarton.
You're getting a few showers lurking around Christchurch, which is not ideal, but look, the rail goes back in the true position for one of many feature races through the April month in the months of May. Look, it's currently a soft 7. Look, I don't think it's going to get as heavy as Otaki, but as I say, there is the odd showers forecasted for today and race day. Hopefully we get no worse than a 7, but I don't think it'll be any better, if that makes sense, lads.
Yeah, okay, it does make some sense. Look, 2 races we're going to have a look at, and I love them both. We're going to start with the TAB Southern Alps Challenge, Steve. Race number 8 on the card. Run us through this market.
Heads the market at $2.40 in front of John O'Rocker at $7 in that second line, Miss Layla. Matt Scott at $8 in double figures around Dazzling Miss. Lady Talina's been well supported, 12 into 11, as has number 12, the Grey Goose. 13 into 11. Ears back at $12. Burgee, the impressive Breeders' winner last start at $14, and best of the rest is Divine Sava at an $18 quote. So a couple that played in that middle market, Thaddeus, the Grey Goose, Lady Talina, etc. But Mystic Park is a horrible result when it comes to futures betting because it had a boost around it at $3 for the weeks leading into this event.
Oh, those pesky boosts. They've got us again. Look, Mystic Park BP. Let's have a look at his run or his win at Riccarton last time out. He was backed off the absolute map. There's a number of runners here. John O'Rourke, Lord Darcy, the Buffer Pro Serve, and John O'Rourke's been competing well up north before running a nice third. But, gee, the money was strong for Mystic Park this day, and it didn't disappoint.
It's the best thing the TAB ever bought in was boost. It really is. And those from the Vinery Stud Stakes fame will be able to know exactly what I'm talking about with orchestral. But anyway, yes, this horse has been boosted and it's got runs on the board. He's just a horse that knows how to win at the moment. He's got conditions that will be up his alley as well. I know the barrier draw is certainly a niggle, but it's just down to Tina.com finding that right spot. She'll be able to. We know that she rides Riccarton really well, so I think he's a bet. I really do think he's a play in the race, just because he comes in with the right form lines, and he's going to be really hard to beat with what we've seen of late. He's an up and comer.
Yeah, he certainly is, and they're been backing him like an up and comer as well. Just a word on John O'Rourke. He's competitive. He's been running well, and that third behind Mystic Park was reasonably good.
It was. Look, as you said, his form is there to say that he's going to run another honest race. He was finishing on in that race into third position. They'll be hoping. He's a horse that's predominantly slow away. He's drawn a middle gate, so if he can find himself not too far back in the running, and he'll be one that's closing in the race, so be looking up for John O'Rourke, and especially if you're playing those trifectas in first fours.
Yeah, okay. Paul, we'll come to you with the next replay. It is Matt Scott in Vegas and Green Luck last time out at Riccarton, and Matt Scott got a well-deserved win, I thought, this day.
Exactly. He'd been knocking on the door for a number of starts before this win at Riccarton, and in the process got the Boys Get Paid Bless Bet up. So a lot of very, very happy punters with when Matt Scott did salute the judge there. Look, he had an issue at the beginning of the year, but he seems to be over that now, and he seems to be a happy horse, and he's well in the market at around the $8 market at the moment. In Vegas, I thought that was a huge run by In Vegas after finding all sorts of trouble throughout the journey, especially over that last furlong. Look, if she gets in the field, she's a super, super lightweight chance, I think. And earlier this year, I think she ran second to the Underbelly, who just went on a tear after that. So, I'll give her a big, big chance if she does make the field. And, of course, I think Green Luck was in there as well. Has drawn the car park this time and has to carry 60 kilos. Just a couple of negatives against the chances of Green Luck. And I think that's why we see Green Luck down towards the bottom of the market.
Yeah, okay. Steve, the South Island Breeders is the next race. Burgee was very good this day. Lady Talina in this race. Dazzling Miss Layla is back, etc. And Divine Sappha, who always has support in her races. But Burgee got the job done this day.
Yeah, look, it was run at an even tempo, suiting all runners, Thaddeus. Look, the overall speed rating, 1.5 lengths below the class. And when you compare it to the Open 14, which was won by Mystic Park, they're comparable speed ratings. They're comparable enough to fit them into the conversation at least. Look, Burgee should get a soft run from the draw. Meets Lady Talina better off in the weights. But the latter does have the services of Warren Kennedy, Lady Talina, who will be better suited at better suited at Riccarton. Likes these big roomy tracks. Obviously, we saw this horse venture up to the CD at Trentham and place in a Group 1 as well, Lady Talina. So, look, she can be a low percentage play at times by the way she maps. She relies on tempo and luck and running come the business end of the race. But, look, they're in the conversation. I suppose my question back to PP, and he's very keen on Mr. Park, and he's got the numbers. There's no doubt about that. He did slightly regress last start, only a fraction, maybe a length if you want to be precise. But you're very keen on him, BP. With that draw, are you happy around the 230? Where do you see this SP? If you're happy for him, are you willing to wait and you reckon that price will drift, or you're happy to take the 230? He may even firm on race day.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, Stephen, I think, this one, because the thing is a horse that's been really well backed of late.
Yes.
So that's a key component, I think. First of all, is that this horse took a stack last time to the races. I mean, you guys got hammered on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that could happen again because punters that got the sweet price that day, paid a short quote, they might be keen to chime in again. He's a winner. And he's a horse that we've seen in recent times winning around this venue. So they are all the reasons why you could get a shorter quote than what's presented today, at the moment at $2.40. What's against it is a barrier draw and also 1,600 metres where you might see a chance of getting around to that $2.50 zone, $2.60, and other things get backed because of maybe better barrier draws and also a distance record. So that's where I'm a little bit on the fence about where the price could sit. But happy to be on the horse, saying that the horse can win tomorrow. But I'm not sure where the price might go. I have a little inkling that it might just sort of hover around where we're sitting at the moment.
Probably not miles away from where it is. $2.30 or 40 at the moment. Look, I will stay with you, BP. Last race replays from down south, Riverton, for the fillies and mares. Obviously, Miss Pearl, Inflamed, and the Grey Goose, who ran sixth here. Yeah. And boy, there's been some market moves around this horse in recent times.
I'll tell you what, the Grey Goose certainly does get me as a bit of a sneaky in the race. She's that sort of horse, and she's going to be one of those horses that'll flash home. Did actually beat Miss Pearl 2 starts ago, did the Grey Goose, and what was a phenomenal performance. Look, Miss Pearl was able to get the job done here and backed up a little bit of inspired support at the bigger price around Miss Pearl, but gee, the Grey Goose is one of those horses that I could be interested in having something on as a saver for an each way, or trying to find a top 4, or trying to find a power play, maybe. If there's a both to run top 4, Mystic Park and the Grey Goose, or something along those lines. So, the one out of that race, the Grey Goose, is what I am liking as a little sneaky.
Yeah, I've just been the money on him lately. It's just been a little bit, not strange, but just been a lot of it. So you'd expect you might see something similar around the Grey Goose, currently sitting around $11. Final thoughts here, boys. We'll come to you first, Steve. What are you going to be doing in the TAB Southern Alps Challenge this year?
It's a tricky race. I do think the key form lines is the Riccarton form lines versus the deep South Island form lines, and obviously I'm warming towards Mystic Park, John O'Rocco, etc. Hard to assess the price around Mystic Park. I tend to agree with BP. I think it will become quite static for at least the next 12 hours, and we'll just see closer to race start time the liabilities surrounding the favourite. But look, there's one horse I think can run above betting expectations, and currently is the ranky at $31, Willis. This horse has just had no luck in its last 2 outings. You go back and watch its replays, it's had no luck whatsoever. He can be a low percentage play, I concede that. He's got low tactical speed and can be back in the last third. And again, rely on tempo, etc. But you go back 3 starts back, this individual bet Burgee and also the Grey Goose. And those two are well in the market in the low teens. So, look, I think if Willis can get the right tempo and doesn't have to be ridden for luck, maybe present down the outer part of the track, which may be the place to be with a little bit of showers throughout the day. So Willis, I can definitely involve in the conversation of top 3, top 4, etc. But I'm warming towards Mystic Park and John O'Rocco as the key form lines.
John O'Rocco for me. I got him on top. In fact, I think it's up towards the top of the market where you want to be looking. John O'Rocco, Mystic Park as well. And then if she does make the field in Vegas, I think is a big lightweight chance.
Sounds like you're all over the favourite here, Pops.
I am, yep. Mystic Park, keen to be with it. Been really impressed with what this horse has been able to produce of late, and there's no reason why he can't keep on winning, going up to 1,600 metres. And yeah, the Grey Goose, just a little couple of dollars there, and maybe I'll be looking to try and play a sort of a wider first 4 or something along those lines with the Grey Goose somewhere, sort of in that 2nd, 3rd, 4th line.
I like where your head's at. Okay, if you like the TAB Southern Alps Challenge, you're going to love the Nzb Insurance Stakes. Steve, race number 6 on the card. I love this race.
It's a fantastic race with the influence of the Northerners trekking down south, that is. Nafedi is the favourite at 3.8 and a well-backed commodity. We get this trend around Nafedi. There's a couple aspects to climb into around Nafedi. Is the fact that No Rain Ever is very soft in the market. $5.50 out of turn of $6. Dangerous Liaisons has been a notable drifter, 7 out to 7.5. The second best back runner happens to be the Robbie Patterson train galloper, number 4, It's Doris. Sticky gate, but 13, got as high as 14. Has been firmed right into $11, currently a losing liability for the tab. Texas Dolly at $14. Outside that, a bit of sense of timing. Got as high as 18, bought back into 16. Original price was $14. Mazzicato's been well found, 18 to 16. Again, naturally with that syndicate involved, can be a trend on the working week leading into race day. But in terms of the best back runner, it clearly sits with number 1 Nefedi for Joe Doyle, the Richie Murray combo.
Yeah, okay, it's been well documented. Nefedi BP, the step up to 2100, maybe pushing to the Oaks, didn't pan out for them. Well, this panned out for them here back over the 1400.
Look, it really did. And you got a price finding out too, didn't you, with this horse? Because that was probably the most surprising thing with what she did go around, because you think it's some of her times in a 65 around Hawke's Bay, I mean, she was punching around that $2 mark. So there was a chance to play $7, $8 and you're rewarded. She is a horse that they had to have a go because she's a 3-year-old filly.
Yeah,
and they found out and they decided, right, let's just pump the brakes, bring it back and trip. Yeah. And when you look at it and think, gee, 21 back to 1,400 metres, but it's just a case that she was a horse that just needed a short course race. And she gets up to 1,600 metres. I don't think that's too much of a problem for her either, because we've seen her at this distance already, winning twice from 2 starts. So there's a lot of good things in her favour here. Low draw. I guess where the track sits as we talk Friday morning, but you know it should be hovering around that sort of soft range, going off sort of those forecast reports. She looks an outstanding chance. She really does. She's a nice filly.
Good on the Richie and Cole Murray there for just realising and just making the call. Bang, we're going back.
Yeah, well, look, they're very good operators, and we even saw that with Nereus, and the prospect of even Nereus getting to a Mornington Cup is you know, they just know how to place their horses. Marajan, of course, they've got going for 3 cups this season, which would be a huge effort, going from a New Zealand Cup to an Auckland Cup to a Sydney Cup. So, as I said, good operators. Sean, we know, who's been a fantastic trainer for a number of years, and Colin Murray, who's joined into that partnership, has just been able to bring everything they need to be a perfect partnership so far. So, let's hope they can get the job done here. And to be honest with you, it looks like they found a nice race to test her over 1,600 metres once again.
Is that the sun? Is that the sun behind us?
Certainly not rain.
Okay.
Certainly not rain.
It's not
team.
rain.
No.
Okay. Paul, next second replay we want to have a look at is No Rain Never, a second favourite in the Cuddle Stakes. Don't know why it's soft in the market, No Rain Never, because this was a strong effort in a strong field.
It was a very, very good effort by No Rain Ever up against the mares, and she probably wasn't in the best part of the track coming down the straight. So I love the way that she just kept giving there. And look, I really like her chances on Saturday. I know she's drawn out wide, but that may not be the worst place to be if they do get a wee bit of weather down there. Look, the fave's going to be very hard to beat. But look, I can't really. I really like the look of her. Just the way that she just kept trying in the Cuddle. I think that poses a big question for the favourite in terms of No Rain Ever. So yeah, I give her a huge chance.
Yeah, okay, the Riccarton 3-year-old Steve is the next one, and we see many combatants coming out of that, but it's Nakaya that took it out. But Mazzicato in the race, Nakaya took it out. Yes, it did. Mazzicato, Sense of Timing, Texas Dolly, Epibel and Lady of Court all competed here, but it was good to see Nakaya get the chocolates this day.
She was ridden well on this occasion. They've fairly got at a slow tempo to the 600, so it really did suit on-speed horses. The overall class rating, minus 2.1. I think this form line is the B-grade form line when you're comparing it to the likes of No Rain Ever and Nefeti. They do have to improve. We can see that with 3-year-old fillies. We can see significant improvement race by race, but on my numbers, they need to improve at least 3 lengths. So on that score, I'm just willing to take a set on that form line and gravitate back towards the Northerners and Nefeti and No Rain Ever.
Okay, the last replay we do want to have a look at BP, and there's been money for it. Steve mentioned it around It's Dolly and Robbie Patterson, and you always respect that money.
You do. Look, it's a combination. We've seen it's had a great season, Robbie Patterson. And look, It's Doris was able to win last time in a 65. She has barrier speed, she set outside leader, and she got the job done here on this occasion. So, look, she had a couple of wins from 7 starts. Nice race to be able to go and target for $80,000 over 1,600 metres, and getting her out to distance that she has been able to perform at as well, this 3-year-old filly and by Tel Perry. And so, good win, so that she's in the right spot. A little bit of a niggly barrier draw. That'll be I guess the one niggle there, where the horse might have to do a little bit of extra work if they want to try and find that position that they got there last time to the races.
Yeah, okay, $11. People willing to take a little bit of a punt around. It's Doris and the Nzb Insurance Stakes. Final thoughts here, team. We'll come to you, Paul, first. How are you going to be attacking the Nzb Insurance Stakes?
I'm going No Rain Ever on top of the favourite. I just like the price at the moment. And I was really, really encouraged by her run in the Cuddle.
It's an interesting one, Paul, around the two favourites, Nafedi and No Rain Never. On my numbers, it's hard to split them, and obviously the action is around or determined by the barrier draws and where they map. Nafedi drawn barrier 3, has tactical speed to sit in the first 3 or 4 there and take a little bit of a cover. And No Rain Ever is drawn barrier 17. They'll probably default to go back to the last third. Remembering there's the War Step Stakes, gents, in a couple of weeks' time over 2,000 metres, and I'd say a lot of the connections around a lot of these fillies will be using this as basically a semi-final. A lot of these horses will be crying out for 2,000 metres already this preparation. I'm not saying No Rain Ever can't win the race, is already looking for 1.25 miles, but there's no bet at this stage, and nothing I want to strongly lead towards. But if there's going to be this continuation of softness and drift around No Rain Ever, I think she becomes a play. Purely because I just couldn't separate them if they had drawn ideal gates or similar gates, but yeah, look, I can understand the warm support around Nafedi in the first 36 hours of trading, but if there's a continuation of this price drifting and easing out on No Rain Ever, I might climb in come Saturday afternoon.
BP?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting race. I mean, even a horse like Dangerous Liaisons right at the bottom, I mean, it's a horse that I know is well touted from the stable, but look, I'm with Nafeti. I think Nafeti has a lot of things in its favour. Good draw and looking outstanding win last time. High chance it could get a very similar run. I'm going to stick with Nikaya, and maybe Nikaya is a horse that we look towards the War Step Stakes. I definitely think there's something about her with the way that she won last time to the races. She should be able to get a soft run in transit, and if she can follow the right horse into the race, she's worthy of a couple of dollars at a bigger price, Nikaya, with how she won. Yep, she's going to have to improve, but a lot of horses are going to have to improve as well. But if she gets a soft suck into the race, I'm happy to say that she might be a chance at big odds, Nikaya.
Foreplay time on the leg up for another week. We won't dwell on last week's foreplay, will we, BP? No. There's no point even mentioning it because we're going to have a win this week in this week's foreplay. Head to the TAB Facebook page, interact with the leg up question. Your favourite Hawke's Bay Cup winner, and you could be in to win. Yeah, exactly. There'll be a few to spring to your mind. This 4-leg bonus bet $100 multi about 4 good things of the weekend. We'll start with you, Pops.
Gee, Green Street, Italian Saint, Pillage and Plunder, Torbo.
Don't give them all away.
Torbo be my one, Hawke's Bay Cup winner. Like, I'm going to go Orchestral. Orchestral to win the Australian Oaks. She sits at $1.65.
Paulie?
I'm going the TAB Southern Alps Challenge, and I'll give John Old Rocco a big chance. I think can finish in that top 4, and I thought I'd boost up the foreplay a wee bit with a $2.40 divvy.
Yeah, I'll go to the feature, the Hawke's Bay Cup. I just feel Testify Me has plenty going for it with hardly a knock. Yeah, decent in the draw, 55 kilograms. Chris Dow has a great association for this horse. He just needs to replicate what he produced at Trentham, and he'd be going very close to winning. So I've just taken a bit of an insurance there, top 4 at $1.45.
Okay, and I've played the Forgive card. We talked about the Forgive card, BP. On Will Rock, top 4 at $1.55. Won't mind the easing of the track. That $100 bonus bet multi could return you $790 and 1 cent. And 1 cent. I don't know if Paul can. Exactly. Yeah, go to the TV Facebook page, interact with the question. You could be in to win. Okay, best bet time on the leg up for another week. But before we have a look at what we've got this weekend, let's have a little look back at how we did last weekend.
I'll go to race number 4 at Trentham. That is the Higgins Concrete Manawa 2 Classic. And really do like the chances of the favourite in the race and Just As Sharp.
Out of stock and Just As Sharp. Investigate, tied it up, but it's out of stock for the Oaks winning trainer. Ormsby does it again on the Champagne turf.
I'm going to go to Trentham, race 2 there, and I like the look of Sinbin.
Sinbin trying to knuckle down. It's Navigator gripping on. Sinbin trying hard. The 2 pains, but Navigator won it.
Yeah, I'll go halfway through the card at Trentham. Race 5, the Maoate Breeders, Apostrophe.
Apostrophe surge to the lead though in the final 100 metres coming away, and Apostrophe is going to be too strong.
Everyone placed. That's the positive spin we could put on it. Everyone had a place. Thank you to Stephen Hunt for getting us a winner. The good thing about racing, though, there's always another race around the corner, BP. So how are we going to get a winner this weekend?
Look, I'm going to go a little left field. I'm going to go for a horse so the form lines aren't there. It's the first race out of Te Rapa. I really like the chances of Kiwi Man at a bit of a price, hopefully. Now, this is a runner that drops back from open handicap and rating 75 races to a rating 65 in the first race of the day at Te Rapa. 4 starts ago was able to win at that venue in 65 grade and does have 2,400 metre form. So we'll go with Kiwi Man in race 1 on Sunday.
Yeah, okay. Paulie, what's your bet of the weekend?
I'm going to Riccarton Park. I'm going to race 5. It's a rating 75 benchmark over 2,000 metres. I think this is perfect for the Terry Ray trained Aristocrat. Matthew Cameron on board. Just things look to be lining up for mine for Aristocrat, and I think we'll see a very, very good run here. Aristocrat, currently $5.
Yeah, I'll go to the Hawke's Bay day at Otaki early in proceedings. Race 3, the rating 65, 1,200. Mesa Verde, first up for Cody Cole, which is a great mode to punt into because he gets his horses ready to go when they present to the races. This victory here back in October at Tauranga rated through the roof. In fact, she rated a 91.7 in terms of my performance ratings, which currently ranks number 1 on all maiden victories thus far this season, Mesa Verde. So, look, again, she ran very creditably second performance or third performance, second up this preparation. I think she's got tactical speed to jump, put herself in the race for Ryan Elliott and be hard to chase down the Otaki home straight.
Okay, there's 3 winners. Thank you, team, for the weekend. We'll take those, put them in our bank, and we'll be back next week to critique how you have gone. Okay, bonus back time on the leg up. We've got the bonus back runners suggested for you, but here's the second, third or fourth bonus back as usual. Races 1 to 4, Riccarton, Otaki, Randwick and Bendigo. Obviously the Grand Tour has now ended for another year, but it was nice to have 6. But back to 4, Riccarton, Otaki, Randwick and Bendigo. Plenty of chances to get stuck in there. We've come with some suggested bonus back runners. BP's gone Mr. Mojo Rising, paying about $4. I like it. Won't mind a little bit of rain. Raced them before Otaki. Paul race 1, Milanese for him. Stephen's gone Lincoln Falls race 4 at Otaki, and I went down south. Our Echo been jumping out of its skin up north. Hope he can take that form back down south in race number 3. Our Echo will be a big chance there. Okay, boys, time to head off for another week. Well, what are you doing, Paul? I think you're heading up our way, aren't you?
Yeah, I think BP's learned a very valuable lesson today. Don't invite Thad up. He brings the rain. But don't worry, I'm on my way, BP, and I'm bringing the sunshine. So it's going to be a huge, huge night at Cambridge. So if you're around, you might want to pop down there. I might have a bet or 2 to hand out to punters. I'm looking forward to it. Head to the website and the Night at Champions Hub. The boys have got all sorts of boosted odds for you to get stuck into. If you don't like harness or you're not familiar with harness racing, you can join the Boys Get Paid Punters Club. Still opportunity, if you're watching this live on Friday morning, still an opportunity to join that. They'll be having a good old go. And of course, there's a bonus back promotion on the first 4 races at the Cambridge tonight, back to 2nd and 3rd. So, yep, I'll be looking after BP.
You coming up, Steve?
Well, I don't even know what's happening. Is it a harness meeting tonight or some magnitude, is it?
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
no, I'm looking forward to next week,
for your efforts as always. Thank you.
Easter Handicap next Saturday. Hopefully we're at Ellerslie, but it should be a belter. I love a big, genuine group race at handicap conditions, so can't wait.
Yeah, Ellerslie, fingers crossed all around that. BP, enjoy your night tonight.
Yeah, we'll do. Should be a lot of fun, and let's hope that rain keeping away. It has so far, so in the last half an hour, so... Yeah, you're dry.
I am dry. Yeah,
all good.
No problem.
Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. Hope you have nothing to worry about on your weekend of betting. We'll see you in 7 days' time on The Leg Up.